VGRT Gaming Podcast, episode 740, recorded on December 19th, 2024.
Hello, and welcome to the 740th edition of the TD Gaming Podcast and 573rd episode of Video Game Roundtable. I am TJ Denzer.
I am Scott
Dirk. And I am Jonah Falcon.
The VGRT Gaming Podcast focuses on game news from around the industry.
Hey, so, this is the last episode of 2024.
It sure is. What a year it's been. It flew by kind of, didn't it?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. There was such a lag of games that it's like the best game of 2024 came on the last month. It's like I don't know. I never really enjoyed any of the game or any of the announcements for that matter either. I mean, I look at Civilization 7 and I want to barf.
Really? What's
I don't
got you
want to play
turned around on Civ
Humankind
7?
2. It's Humankind 2. It's not Civilization. It's not
it's a different take. You're
very different take.
They're doing cultural leaders, I guess, versus the actual leaders that were, in charge of the country. So that's going to be very different.
They took everything from Humankind and decided, you know what? That game failed so hard. Let's put it in Civ 7. That's why, I just bought Civilization 7 and all the DLC on a special sale for $18 on Windows. I had it on Steam, but now I have Windows, so now I can get Xbox achievements for it. So that tells you exactly what I think of Civilization 7. I'm just going to play Civ 6.
Huh. I mean, I want to see more. I mean, and also, Cultural Leaders isn't entirely new.
How do you get attached to the civilization you have? Oh, I'm the Egyptians. Oh, wait, you want me to change?
You've had Gandhi in Civ for years, and he wasn't an actual,
So you had America and Civilization for years, and they never started from the Stone Age either.
Sure.
I mean, if they wanted to do it in which you started one civilization, and there's a chance that other civilizations would branch off from you or become part of, then I'd be okay with that. You play this, some neo-Celtic civilization, and all of a sudden you have people who are rebelling, and you could either stay with your old one or go with the people who are rebelling. So what happens is, oh, you know what? I'm going to go with the Anglo-Saxons now. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go with the Americans. But this, you just abandon everything and say, okay, you know what? I'm a new country now. It didn't work in Humankind. It's not working here. I was all set to like Era, Future Untold. The issue with it is it's one big puzzle game. In order to make any wonders, you have to make certain products. Like, oh, you want to build a pyramid? Well, now you got to build 10 of this, 10 of this, and 10 of this, and 10 of this, and boom, you can make it. It's like, what? Can't I just get some big rocks and just push it and make the pyramids that way? So, yeah.
2024 has had a lot of good RPGs. We had Trials Daybreak. I finished playing.
Yeah, and I already know what your most I know what your most anticipated game of 2025 is going to be.
What one do you think it is?
Trails of Daybreak 2.
Okay, yeah.
That's going to be your most looked forward to game. Oh, Trails of Daybreak 2 is coming. Yay.
Well, I mean, there's also the Suikoden.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that yet. First, we're talking about what we're playing now. So,
all right.
I've still been playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I found out something about it is that you can fly through those early levels. Scott, you should mute yourself if you're going to have kids coughing in the background. Wow, that's loud. Scott, way loud.
There's nothing happening.
Is it me? Can't be me. Hold on, let me mute myself and see what happens.
I hear some crowd or something going on.
It can't be me. I muted myself and there's nothing going on there. Anyways, let's just continue. So Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So what happens is that in that game, I discovered that you can zip through it if you want to. You just go on the straight, but you're missing so much if you decide to do that. It's like you're missing all these side activities, also activities that'll help you buff yourself so things are easier. And also, I like staying in those levels as long as possible because I'm really enjoying the writing and the acting and all that stuff. And it makes the Game Awards look kind of like morons. Because, hey, guess what's not eligible to be for Best Game of the Year with an 87 Metacritic, while the Monkey game is an 81, and DLC is there. It doesn't look good, and a lot of people have been commenting on this because, for one thing, if you play it on a PC with all the graphics jacked up, and what I love is it has low, medium, high, ultra plus, and ultra supreme, which sort of reminds me of Crysis. You know, if you play it with all jacked up, you have all the ray tracing and all the stuff, and then you have the characters look exactly like themselves, and you have the voice acting, which is excellent. The guy who does the voice for Marcus Brody is David Shaughnessy, and that struck in my head. Where did I hear that voice before? So I looked at his IMDb page, and I saw it. Yeah, he was Vigil in Mass Effect, in the first Mass. He did a lot of work, but to me, he's Vigil. So, but yeah, it's that. If I'm going to say a game of the year, I'm going to have to say Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. It's like watching Indiana Jones, the television series.
It really is. It's a great movie game. Like, and I was talking to folks, like, there seems to be a couple factors on whether this game hits or misses with certain people. I've talked to folks that weren't Indiana Jones fans, and they just couldn't get into it as much. Like, I love Indiana Jones. I love those first three movies. I think they're amazing. And so
there's one moment in the game in which I said, yeah, Machine Games knows Indiana Jones. Mm-hmm. At the end of the desert level, you're stuck in the sand up to your head, and these scorpions start coming, and then he goes, no, go away. And now, at that point, he has to start blowing on them to get them not to stay. That is so Indiana Jones movie. Because people forget, Indiana Jones is a goofy guy. It's a goofy series, and he does goofy things, and that scorpion thing was a goofy moment in it.
Yeah. And so I feel like your where you come from on your whether you like Indiana Jones as a whole or not is kind of a factor in this game. I also feel like whether or not you like arcane games matters. Because this might have Machine Games as the developer, and you can totally tell it's Machine Games in a lot of places.
You know what I forgot?
It also has.
By the way, you know what I forgot? You know what Machine Games also did, and people have compared it to that game? The Chronicles of Riddick game.
Oh, yeah. Butcher Bay.
Yeah. So that's where they got this format from.
Yeah, but like it feels so much like Dishonored and Prey, just without the powers. And in fact, I would argue that like the bullwhip is your powers in a way that like those games have.
I learned very quickly that in the movies, Indiana Jones doesn't use guns very much because unlike beating the crap out of people, when you use a gun, everybody says, "Oh wait, he's over here."
Yeah.
Using a gun is a failure state.
I used the gun on someone once, and I swear I shot them right in the head, and they just stumbled backwards, and then they kept trying to fight me.
Because you get some books that can increase the lethality of your pistols and all that stuff. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, like you can tell that like Machine Games was really trying to rein in for that sort of Disney PG-13 rating.
Yeah, they definitely sampled the punches from Indiana Jones when he does a. Mm-hmm. Actually, in the very beginning, I caught the what's it called, Wilhelm scream in the Himalayas.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to playing that game because I remember playing Fate of Atlantis and Last Crusade.
It's a very different game in that regard. In that Fate of Atlantis was a scum adventure game. This This is more like Thief. And a lot of times, Indiana Jones is acting like Garrett because he's making those little commentaries as he's going along. Also, I love taking pictures because he always has a comment on whatever he's taking a picture of.
Yeah. It's a really great game. I love it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's very Indiana Jones. It gets Indiana Jones. And here's the thing: I like a game in which the adventure archaeologist is friends with brown people instead of murdering them, like Nathan Drake does. At least you're getting to kill fascists and Nazis. That's who you should be killing and beating up. I hope people take that lesson because people are starting to embrace that. Anyways, what have you been playing, Scott?
I've been playing Jedi Survivor.
Oh.
So, speaking of, playing adventure games, and it's a sequel to Fallen Order.
Yeah, that one's more like, it's not Souls-like. It's a Tenchu game, right?
Well, it does have those save points, and they restart if you rest, and there's a lot of parrying and blocking happening, so I can see that being, somewhat Souls-like. It's very tough combat, so I just reduced it to story mode because I just want the story. I don't care about.
Yeah, that game is all about the parry.
Yeah, and the force powers are nice, and I believe they gave you some new tools that weren't in the first game. You get a little grapple hook that I don't think was in the first game. And you get a base, and you get to recruit people to come there. So that's a nice addition. And I guess there's a garden you get to plant, and it's fun so far. I've only gotten to the first region after the prologue, after Coruscant. You go to this deserted planet, and you're exploring that, and there's a large area, and I haven't finished with it yet even. So I feel like this is a nice meaty game. It feels like.
Yeah, I haven't even finished the first game. I like Cal Kestis, but I haven't been able to get through it.
I like Cal. He seems good. And it's really interesting playing from this perspective of the Jedi Order is gone, you're on the run, and you're trying to survive the Empire era where Empire is completely in control, and you basically have no hope of peace. You just...
It's interesting where these games are set. I mean, Great Circle is set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom, while this is set between Revenge of the Sith and Star Wars.
Yeah, so it's a very grim era, and Cal is trying to deal with that, because it's like he keeps losing people, and the Empire just seems like this invincible force, and he doesn't know what to do or, how he's going to get through this, So it's just interesting to see.
How about you, TJ? What have you been playing?
I have been trucking along through Stalker 2. I really love that game. It's
experiencing it because I think they recently released a few bug patches for that game.
They released a major update today, and the big fixes in there were like improving upon the NPC like intelligence. Basically, when you're not in combat with them, they should be smarter and affect the world more interestingly. But even without that, I was having fun with the game. I really like its loop as far as just like weight is such a factor in that game because like you can carry a lot of stuff, but the more you carry, it like actually slows you down, makes it so that your stamina doesn't come back as quickly. And actually makes it harder to play. But going out and like grabbing anything you can find and being able to truck it back to a settlement and be able to sell all that stuff allows you to do so much work on like your armor, your guns. You can interact with a lot of people, and like I think my favorite part of it is probably the dynamic weather system. There's a lot of rain, lightning storms, wind, the emissions, which are radiation storms in which you have to sprint for the nearest shelter and get inside, or you will die. Like, you will straight up die. And not only will you die, but everybody caught out there with you will die. And it's like, you feel that too, because when I had a moment where an emission, like it came over the radio that an emission was coming, and I was in the middle of a firefight with bandits, and they just stopped shooting at me and ran for their lives.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
like
Stalker 2 is basically always on hard mode.
Yeah. But like we haven't had a new good Fallout game in a pretty long time. And for that, Stalker 2 is scratching that itch for me in a way that like really, really makes me happy. I like the gameplay loop of that game. I like the gunplay. I like the exploration. And it's been fun.
You know, all these expansions have been coming out for Fallout 76, and that marker is starting to go up and up and up. Now it's at just over three stars on the review page, and it's sort of like I'm gonna check it out again just to see what's going on there, because people are really, really getting into Fallout 76 now.
Yeah, they just released a new expansion where you can play as a ghoul.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then the other thing I've been fiddling with a lot is Total War Warhammer 3. It came out in 2022, and I played it a little bit back then, but I had fallen off of it for a while. The thing that got me back in is I got a project to do a feature on the latest DLC. And when I was in there fiddling with it, I realized, like, oh my goodness, they have added so much to this since I've been away.
It's a coincidence because I've started playing Stellaris again.
Nice. That's a good one, too. I really, really dig how every, like the factions themselves have their personal goals, but every faction leader also kind of has their different way of approaching it. Like, there are like 6 different Lizardmen leaders, and every one of them has a different focus on what they would like to pursue as far as the whole faction's goals. And I really find that to be fun, especially when like a leader brings completely different mechanics to the game. One of the DLC leaders that came out in this last set is an orc leader, Gorbad Ironclaw. And his whole bit is he's like the orc strategist, as in orcs don't come up with strategy except for this guy. And his whole thing is he has a mechanic called the plan, and if he has certain assets, certain resources, he can arrange to get bonuses by unlocking these plans and using them in battle. Like with squigs. Squigs are like basically, for lack of better terms, mouths on 2 feet. And they're very hard to control because they are just completely unorganized. But you can get a plan with Gorbad that makes it so that their formation doesn't break as easily. And that turns them into effective shock troops, which I use to barrel through archer formations and destroy it. And it's really fun to have that kind of stuff in that game.
Cool. Anyways, we're not going to have much of a podcast today because all we're going to do is we're going to talk about next year. We're going to talk about the games that we're going to be looking forward to in 2025. I already listed, an automatic for Scott right there, and that's Legend of Heroes Trials Date right too.
Well, that's one of them, yes.
Okay, so let's do this slowly. So the first big game that's coming out is East Walmart. No, I'm kidding. Actually, now that I think about it, Scott, are you interested in Donkey Kong Country Returns?
Not really.
Okay, I was just wondering because there's a lot in January. There's a lot of remakes. Although I will say, I'm wondering, TJ, are you going to get Guilty Gear Strive for the Switch just so you can play it in bed?
No.
Oh.
I think it's ambitious. I think it's cool that it's moving to another platform. I don't know who is looking at Guilty Gear Strive on Nintendo Switch and being like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. Let's play it that way.
So the first 2 big games that are original. I mean, Spider-Man 2 is coming to PC, but who cares? I did not know there was a new Orcs Must Die game coming out.
Mhm.
Except it's Orcs Must Die Death Trap. And I've been playing, well, not recently, but lately was Orcs Must Die 3, and I was actually flown to Austin to Ensemble Studios to check out and play the first Orcs Must Die game. So, R.I.P. Ensemble Games. We miss you. Because they were the guys who were the Age of Empires guys. But, of course, the first real big game is the game that everybody's wondering about, and that's Avowed. So
Yeah, that's one of
Scott,
the ones I'm looking forward to.
Scott, did you play Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah, I backed and played Pillars of Eternity.
I backed Pillars of Eternity too, but I never really played it that much. So I
Yeah,
had the
I
game,
played-
I backed it, and it's like I never really got through it.
I played both of them. I liked the idea of reincarnation and that being a big role in the story, and all the Ardra and the soul magic stuff that was happening. So I really enjoyed the world and its lore, and I look forward to Avowed, which will be a third person or first person game, but it's going to have like a lot of RPG elements, and I guess be zone zone design stuff, like open world.
Yeah, it was supposed to be their Obsidian's version of Skyrim, but they changed it. They decided to do it more like more condensed, yet a lot more. Because the one thing about Obsidian is that they're really big on having options, even more than Bethesda games. Like basically Fallout New Vegas, right? Everything you do has an effect on the world. That's what's going to happen with Avowed. And what about Pillars of Eternity's universe appeals to you, Scott?
Well, like I said, the whole reincarnation stuff, the wheel that spins you out and you get a new life, and the previous life can still affect you. I know, like, one of the characters in the Pillars game was previously one of their previous personalities kept coming to the front, and it would interact with the current character, and it created a lot of conflict for him because he was feeling very cowardly, whereas the previous life was very brave and very upfront and boisterous, and was telling him to stand up for himself. So I thought that was an interesting character and interesting concept.
How about you, TJ? What game do you want to talk about first that's coming out next year?
There are quite a few around the corner, like early on in February. February is going to be a big month for me.
Yes.
Actually, one of the games I'm looking forward to a lot is in March, at the beginning of March. But first, you.
Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. that looks like it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
We're getting action Yakuza back again. We're getting action Like a Dragon again, which is I like that version of Like a Dragon and Yakuza more than I like the ones that we've had in Infinite Wealth and the one before that.
Well, if it's action, then it has to be Goro Majima.
Right. But I like playing as Kiryu and Goro, and just I like doing cool combos and fighting enemies in stylish ways. And
I'm sorry, I prefer Ichi.
That's fine, but even if it was Ichi, I would like it if it was an action game more than I like the turn-based thing. The turn-based thing is what I'm not crazy about.
You know what's really fun is that the Ichi game is Infinite Wealth, and they say, you know what? We like the setting so much, we're going to put Goro in there.
Goro's everybody loves Goro. Goro is one of the fan favorite characters. If it's not Kiryu, it's Goro.
Yeah, but if you see the poster for Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Goro looks so fucking goofy.
He always looks fucking goofy.
No, he really goofy. He's wearing the entire pirate. It's like he decided to play Sea of Thieves.
The only time he hasn't looked goofy is when he is in Yakuza 0 when they did his.
He's dressed in a suit, and he always. By the way, how much odds do you want to bet that you're going to have a crossover with Sea of Thieves?
I don't know. That's great. That would be interesting. I know they're going to have actual pirate battles in the game, which puts it a step above Skull and Bones already.
We're not doing this.
I know, but I had to. But I am because the moment they showed me pirate battles, the way that they're going to work, the way that you can actually join the crew and fighting the other crew, I was thinking to myself, "Hey, this is what Skull and Bones should have been from the very first start."
Yeah. Well, in this game, guess what? You'll be able to play old arcade games like Poseidon Wars and Space Harrier and Ocean Hunter. You know, so you'll be able to play the 8-bit games inside the game.
Yep. And then 1 week after that is Monster Hunter Wilds, which I am extremely... That game is going to take over my life for probably a good part of 2024. I love what I got to play a demo at Tokyo Game Show, and the new moves feel awesome. The monsters are cool as hell. The new mechanics are cool. I love the secret mount that you get in this game. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait. I'm always ready for more mainline Monster Hunter.
Well, I mean, for me, the one game that is coming out, it's coming out March 4th, which I am really looking forward to, is 2 Point Museum. I liked Campus a lot more than Hospital, but looking at the trailer and everything that's going into Museum has me hyped more than I was for Campus.
Yeah, Museum, I have gotten to play a demo of that, and it's shaping up very fun. I like that you don't just get you don't just get exhibits to put in your museum. You actually have to actually hire explorers and send them out to go explore different areas and find different exhibits to bring back to your place. And after that, you have to there are some exhibits that have special requirements to them. Like if you have a frozen exhibit, it has to have cooling near it because you don't want it to melt and get ruined. I also think they learned, but I haven't gotten to see it in action, that you're going to have thieves and vandals and bad children trying to screw up your museum. And I'm interested to see how you thwart that stuff.
Yeah.
That seems really good.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I like management stuff like this, and that's really creative, letting you do a museum. And I don't think I've ever seen that before, so that's definitely interesting.
It's almost like they're moving towards, for lack of better terms, it makes me think like you remember, what is it? The villain sim, Evil Genius. It reminds me a little bit of Evil Genius.
The problem with Evil Genius when I was playing it was, your Evil Genius was never in danger. If any of the agents came in, he would just beat the crap out of them. And there wasn't that connect that I had with Campus, it didn't quite connect with me. And I don't know what it was. Who knows? Staying within the in the early of the year, we can talk about Atomfall, which is published by Rebellion, and this time it's sort of like they're looking at Stalker 2 and said, okay, you know what, we're going to do our own survival game, and it's going to be goofy. Especially when you actually have a you have a red box from England, the telephone booth, and all of a sudden you think, oh wait, is that our TARDIS? It's not, but I can't help but think, if you're going to put that thing in there, why not just make it a TARDIS? So yeah, you're going through a post-apocalyptic England, complete with Wicker Man, and you're doing all the survival stuff, grinding and all that stuff. It's just weird, and it's by Rebellion. For those who don't know who Rebellion is, they're the guys who do the sniper games. And they actually have another sniper game coming out, too. So they're just really interesting. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. TJ, there is a game coming out in March, which you are super hyped about. And that's Killing Floor 3.
Yes. I can't wait. It's looking brutal. Every time they've showed the game, they put a big focus on just how hard you can go with the gore in the game. Killing Floor 2, I've had the chance to talk to Tripwire a couple times about it, the gore system in the game, almost every monster in that game can be broken apart into various pieces and layers of, like, you got the top layer of skin, you got the underneath layer of muscle, you got the underneath layer of bone, and then there's the fact that their legs, their arms, their head, their everything could just pop off their body or explode.
Yes, I saw the developer video.
And it looks like they are taking that to 11 in this next one, which I love it. Like, the gore had to be perfect for this. It absolutely has to be, because that's a core component of what Killing Floor is. Now I need to get that game into my hands and see what the gunplay is like, because that's the other thing. Killing Floor has incredibly good gunplay, and I would hope that they're able to capture just how good that felt in Killing Floor 2 while thoughtfully improving upon it for this new one.
Yeah. The other scheduled game, which you might consider major, that has a definite release date, is Double Dragon Revive. It's another beat 'em up but it's also done by Arc System Works. So
you're getting more characters in that. I think I saw that trailer and it had 2 additional ones.
I don't know.
I don't know if I understood that one. Because it looked like all 4 of them there was like 4 characters fighting.
Yeah, I mean they've been kind of consistent with the games coming out. I mean, River City Girls 2 came out, I think, this year. So they're finally coming. They've done 3 River City games before this. As a matter of fact, they've been a bunch of games. This is the first game in a long time that they've actually done for Double Dragon, except for the spin-off that was in 2023. The unscheduled games. 33 Immortals, roguelike by Thunder Lotus. It was one of the games that was heavily shown off during the Xbox showcase. I know a lot of people were interested in that. You remember 33 Immortals?
I have not had a chance to play it, but my colleagues who have in preview builds have said that it's very ridiculous and very fun. Well,
I mean, there's that other game by Thunder Lotus, which gives them a lot of benefit of the doubt, because they're the ones who did Spiritfarer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
when is the Expedition 33 coming out? Isn't that, or I guess they don't know if that's coming out next year.
Is it coming next year? No, it's coming in 2026 probably.
Okay.
What is coming out though? And if you're into strategy games, that is... Oh, I lost myself. Oh, yeah, Anno 1017 Pax Romana. So they're going all the way back to Roman times for this one. Have you played the Anno games? Scott? Or TJ?
I played Anno 1800.
Yeah, most people have
I've not played Anno.
Really? Anno is a economic strategy game in which you're building... It's a city builder, except with an economic bent. They had one set in the future, which was more of an ecological bent. But you know what?
Most city builders were economic bent. Like, you have to create money to build.
It's set in like... Some of them are set with the Hans Teutonica. The entire point is that you are... the city is growing, but not because you're building it, but because you're bringing so much business to it. So what happens is the better business you bring to it, the more it grows. So you don't have a direct influence on it. You can build your own buildings, but it grows as you grow, basically.
Right. I'm definitely looking forward to the Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster.
Yeah.
Actually, I think there's a Dragon Quest remaster and a Lunar's remaster coming.
There's so many remasters coming out. Acquire's doing all of these things. They have Class of Heroes 3 remaster. They have some remasters I didn't even know that they were really, that was really... I'll come upon it later. I say, wait, they're remastering that? Why? One game I'm really excited about is Coffee Talk Tokyo. I I loved Coffee Talk 1 and 2, and I'm happy to see another Coffee Talk coming. It's almost a visual novel. You're making coffee drinks for people, but most of it is them just talking to you and you responding. Have either of you played Coffee Talk?
Yes,
No, I haven't.
the first one. I love how those games are designed. The narratives are fun. They're really relaxing. It's a bit dour at times because the characters in the game obviously unload some heavy stuff on you once you get to be their friend. But it's also just kind of cathartic making those drinks and talking to those characters and seeing how it all plays out.
In Coffee Talk 2, you can actually change the story depending on the drinks you make.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Coffee Talk, did you complete it?
I did not complete the first one.
Okay, so in the game you can save scum, and there's an actual in-game universe revelation at the end why you're able to save scum. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's kind of cute because you don't really think about save scumming until you do. And by the way, Expedition 33 is coming out in the second quarter. It's called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And I know a lot of people are excited for that one because they looked at it and said, "Oh, it's like a Dark Souls game." And then all of a sudden, holy no shit! It's a Final Fantasy game. So, Scott, you're interested in Expedition 33, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure when that's coming out, but it does look fun.
Coming out quarter two. It's coming out in the quarter 2 of this year.
Oh, okay. Or 2025, I mean.
2025, yeah.
Yeah. But
because a lot of people were frustrated with Final Fantasy 16 because of it being an action game. So it's sort of like Expedition 33 came up and said, "Hey, you want a turn-based Final Fantasy? Here we are."
Yep, and you have a whole new world, a whole new characters, and just completely. Well, I mean,
isn't the conceit of Final Fantasy that it's always a different world every game?
Usually, but like lately, it's just been Final Fantasy 7 for like how many games now, and freaking what was it, Paradise?
But no, wait, 15 were those 4 guys. One is the prince, and the other 3 are his friends.
I didn't care about that one. It was like Backstreet Boys Final Fantasy game.
What really pissed me off is that this guy has no problems. Oh no, you're gonna marry a beautiful princess and you're rich and you have these friends? What's the problem?
I guess they're bored and want to go adventuring.
I guess. And make carrots. Stop in the middle of everything and just make a carrot garden.
Whereas, like, the Expedition 33, you're trying to stop this, this witch from eliminating humanity one age at a time.
Did you know there's going to be a shoot-'em-up version of Deep Rock Galactic, TJ?
I did see that. I'm happy to see that Coffee Stain has done so well with themselves in that game.
But it's not Coffee Stain.
They're the publisher.
Coffee Stain. The Ghost Ship Publishing is publishing it, and Fun Day is developing it. But Vampire Survivors has a lot to answer for now. There was a game like 10 or 15 years ago called I Made a Game with Zombies in it.
Mm-hmm. Who
knew that it would be the first of this type of game? I still have the song on my CD. I made a game with zombies in it. Oh yeah. And it was a song done by the developer. I met him several times at PAX. He's as millennial as you ever want to get. A millennial video game designing geek in all the best ways.
Did you guys see the trailer for the game Dispatch?
Yep.
I thought that was an interesting one that's coming in the future.
Yeah, it's by Ad Hoc. It's by Ad Hoc.
Mm-hmm. And you're playing like a dispatch where you're dispatching the heroes to different areas.
Yeah, I mean, there's several games that are like that. There's one game that came out in which you play in a 911 dispatcher.
Oh yeah, I think I saw one of those, and you're pointing on the map, telling them where the firefighters and police to go, and you have to respond to calls. I think there was a YouTuber I watched who was just completely failed at it.
Yeah. The other game that's coming out that people have circled their calendar for, except there's no date for it, is Doom: The Dark Ages, which everybody is just salivating for. I mean, at least those who are into shooters.
The Ninja Gaiden Ragebound was really cool when I saw that one.
TJ, are you excited for Doom: The Dark Ages?
I am. That game looks awesome. Every time they show something new from it, it looks ridiculously fun. Yeah. We got a Rock'em Sock'em Robot segment where you climb into a giant angel mech and punch the hell out of a demon.
Yeah,
awesome.
And then, like, there's that shield that is like, it's a shield, but it's also a buzzsaw. Looks like it's going to be ridiculously fun to use.
Yeah.
Same with the freaking machine gun that you use. You straight up throw skulls into the top of it and grind them up into fragments
and shoot them, yes.
Yeah. Everything about that game is metal as hell, and I love it.
Yeah. Okay, you were saying, Scott?
About Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, the new Ninja Gaiden game.
What's with Sigh? Why sigh?
I don't think this
Ninja
is
Gaiden is at its prime, and it's not being done by the weirdo with shades.
It's being done by the Blasphemous devs, which makes me even more excited for it.
I know.
Yeah, but it's still not Team Ninja.
Fighting demons.
The Game Kitchen is about to take Ninja Gaiden back to its roots, back to
the
old school, hard as nails.
Yeah.
Grab the seat of your pants and pray for dear life, because I hope this game kicks my ass. I hope it kicks the shit out of me.
Like, the pixels look great.
They do.
Really.
Game Kitchen knows exactly what they're doing with this, and I couldn't be happier to see it.
Looks like a great ninja game.
As in the arcade game, not the 3D game.
Right. Like, I really do hope that this is the start of, like, I hope Ninja Gaiden.
There's tons of side scrollers.
I hope Ninja Gaiden Ragebound ends up being for that franchise what Prince of Persia had in 2024, where we got like one announcement last year, and then it spun off at the. No. We're talking about the two that came out this year.
You know what? You know what really needs to come out? Another Guyver game. If you're going to talk about Ninja Gaiden side scroll, you have to talk about Guyver side scroller.
I mean, like, what I want is I want to see this Ragebound game reignite the love for Ninja Gaiden in a way that we do eventually get a 3D version, because I like both. I think they're both awesome, and I think they're a huge foundation of action gameplay as we know it.
Well, how about this, Scott?
Yeah.
Are you ready for a new Professor Layton game?
Yes, I've been waiting. Is that next year?
Professor Layton, The New World of Steam.
Yeah, I saw that trailer. God, I don't even know how long ago, and I've been waiting and waiting for it. I know it'll be on the Switch, and I'm gonna have so much fun with that game.
Still, just 2025 with no other actual release date.
Okay. But yes, that is one of the ones I'm looking forward to.
So, the next Outer Worlds game is coming out next year.
I saw that too. Yeah.
I don't know. The hype doesn't seem to be there right now.
I'm kind of surprised, given some of the lukewarm reception of it. You know, people haven't really hated it, but they haven't been really that enthusiastic about it.
Maybe it's a little bit overshadowed by a lot of new games.
I feel like that's the case, because it was a thing where, like, this game The Outer Worlds 2 has only shown up like maybe once for an announcement per year since it's been announced. And then they kind of just go away and don't talk about it for months upon months at a time. Like, when's the last time we heard about The Outer Worlds 2 before the Game Awards announcement?
I just remember that teaser in which they mocked the concept of having a sequel.
I think that they'll have the audience there when it's time, just because
it's Obsidian and it's a big game, and it's also going to be multi-platform. It's not going to be an Xbox exclusive.
I'm going to say something that could or could not be controversial. I think that Borderlands has fallen off, and I think that the Outer Worlds is better at doing Borderlands humor than Borderlands is now.
And yet Borderlands 4 is coming out, and it's interesting to see how... Here's the thing, the movie was an absolute train wreck. So it's going to be interesting to see how they try and bolster Borderlands 4 without having the stink of the film hanging all over it.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw that trailer for Borderlands 4 and I thought, this is extremely mid.
I think they'll be able to ignore the movie just like everyone ignores the M. Night Shyamalan Avatar movie. Everybody forgotten about it.
Yeah, and then they have a really crappy Netflix series. So.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not as bad as the Shyamalan thing, but they try to turn Avatar into Game of Thrones, and it just doesn't work that way. I know your radar is probably up, TJ, for the Sinking City 2. It's another Frogwares game.
I like those games a lot. I like the Sherlock Holmes games a lot.
They actually started. Didn't they do also do recently a Poirot game?
I can't remember. You might.
I know right. I played a Poirot game. I don't know if it was them though.
Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 though was pretty dang good.
I still haven't finished it. It's sitting not on my hard drive, but in my library, waiting for me to finish it.
What I didn't like about the first Sinking City is that you had to spend a lot of time in that game going back to a
map,
going back to the library and checking newspaper clippings for clues. But
that's the entire point of the game. It's Sherlock Holmes except Cthulhu,
right?
But you actually have to, it's one of those games in which you really take a piece of paper and start marking off, making your own map, because it don't give you a map. You have to figure everything out for yourself.
But what I mean is that there are better parts of the investigation in that game, and there are better exploration segments in that game, and I think it spends way too much time in the library.
Okay. But that's what Cthulhu is. That's Lovecraft. Spend time in it. Okay, one game...
that much time in the library? Do you really... I don't know. Maybe it's me.
Yeah. One game that's coming out, which I'm really interested in, and it's going to be interesting to see how it fares post-Balatro, and that's Slay the Spire 2.
Yeah,
it has a new character.
You've been a huge fan of the first one.
I'm still playing it. I'm still playing it. If you look at my stats, it's like number of kills made. I'm number one with my friends at like 36,500, and the next highest is like 6,000. But I still haven't beaten all 4 hearts. You know, it's my white whale right now. I don't understand how anybody can go up to Ascension 20 and beat the entire game. I don't know how. That is a system. That is a love of masochism right there. But I am looking forward to Slay the Spire 2. I am. I like what I saw from the video that they did for it. By the way, Splitgate 2 is coming out, and it's sort of like it. Using a game like that, you know, they just have the base game and they keep on iterating and iterating and iterating and iterating. Have you spoken to those guys again? The guys at 1047 Games?
1040? Yeah, we've talked to them a lot, and in fact, a lot of us on Shack News staff love that game because a lot of us love Halo. And it is almost exactly like that style of gunplay.
Yeah, but they're coming out with a sequel next year.
That's what I'm saying, is that we are watching for that game because we loved the first one a lot. I remember them having an issue with the online and matchmaking system and the crossplay, but that whole game, especially as they got investment, felt like it was a tech demo leading up to something better. And I hope that they have it. I would believe and I hope that they have kind of taken that time, taken the criticism for the first game, And I hope they come out swinging with the second one in a way that really, really gets people going right from Jump Street, because I really enjoyed playing that game for a long time.
Yeah. So now that the Chinese room has taken over, do you think they actually have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 listed for Q1, Q2?
I still don't know what to think of that game. I really kind of just like, I want to see a good stretch of gameplay, because...
Well, I mean, what we know from the Chinese room is they're very good at atmosphere.
Yeah, they are. But like, this is a vast action. This is a vast RPG, and I haven't seen Chinese room do that. So I'm very curious to see how they do it.
Yeah. So there's a new Virtua Fighter game coming out, not the remake or whatever iteration of Virtua Fighter 5 is coming out. No,
but don't worry, a new version of Virtua Fighter 5 is also coming out.
Yeah, it's like Untitled Virtua. When the fuck are they gonna do Virtua Fighter 6 for crying out fucking loud?
In like 2026. But so let's go ahead and address that. They finally did announce a new Virtua Fighter, and exciting. They made it look like, so like the characters in there are like Akira, who looks like a hobo. He looks hobo chic, and what looked like Sarah Bryant, and they just get into a straight up brawl in the middle of a street. It looks like they just walked up to each other and started fighting, and the free form of it, like the sheer amount of just like free flowing combat that we saw in the small glimpse we got.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm especially excited because Ryuga Gotoku is the Yakuza devs are working on this game, and they know how to make good action combat.
So, Scott?
Yeah?
Trails in the Sky is being remastered.
Oh, yes.
And it's going to be done in the Trails Through Daybreak engine.
Yes.
So I know what you're thinking. Jonah, this is a good time for you to get on. They're remaking it, so you might as well try it.
Yeah, that's true. If you want to do the Iceberg, this will be the supposedly the best version of the game.
Until they remake it 20 years from now.
Yeah, it'll be on, I think, all platforms, and it has new localization, or at least I guess it's their new languages are adding German and a second one. I forgot what it was, maybe French. And this, it'll have the Crow battle system where you can start an action and then turn on the turn base at any point, and and then you'll get to play the Sky Story, which I thought was some of the best of Trials or Trails.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything else. I mean, Sudoku, by the way, 1 and 2 is coming out in March 6th. So at least you can circle the date.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to that one.
Rosina, if you have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition coming out for the Switch.
Yeah, they're getting ready to release the DLC for Iudian Chronicles.
Yeah.
That'll be coming out next year as well.
Yeah.
There's also DLC coming out for Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker. So that'll be coming out as well.
So let's end this by saying the number one game we're waiting for after this entire discussion for 2025. The one that you're looking forward most to. TJ.
Probably Fatal Fury City of the Wolves.
Really? I thought you were going to say Killing Floor 3.
I do love Killing Floor 3, but Fatal Fury is closer to my heart than probably any other fighting game franchise. Okay. Even Guilty Gear, because Fatal Fury is like one of the first games I remember playing. And so seeing them SNK come back strong and be able to put
I was about to say, I don't know many people who are any SNK fighting game is their favorite, because the bosses.
I love those about the SNK games. They're a key element, and I hope that
everybody out there, if you're a dominatrix, guess who's into masochism?
I just love Terry Bogard, Rock Howard, like all these characters that I grew up with. these characters are close to my heart, and to see them in a new and good-looking and proficient-looking fighting game, I'm so ready to main this one throughout 2024. This is the one, 2025. This is the one that I'm looking forward to playing most at Evo. When I go back there.
Are you going to compete with that game in Evo?
Absolutely. They announced my favorite character, Kim Dong Hwan, who is a Taekwondo user that uses like lightning in his kicks. I absolutely cannot wait to get that game, practice with him, get myself up to a level where I can take him online and clown on people, and then go for the gold at Evo. I can't wait to play that game at Evo because I know it's going to be there.
How about you, Scott?
I guess I will say Daybreak 2 because I was thoroughly enjoying Daybreak 1, and it's, I have a story that I need to see the conclusion of, and that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. And then Avowed after that.
Yeah. Mine is Mugenics. I'm kidding. What is Edmund doing with that game? God damn it! It has to come out at some point, and it has a killer theme song. I still have that on my MP3 player too. Mugenics. No, mine is going to, of course, be Death Stranding 2. I'm kidding. I'm sorry, but I don't want more of Death Stranding. They have to fix the first one. It's really tough for me. I am just going to have to say, probably early on, it's going to be... what is that?
Not me.
Sorry, fire alarm going off. My spouse is cooking.
Oh. You have to burn everything, don't you?
Our fire alarm in our living room is super sensitive. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, 2 Point Museum. That is the game I'm looking forward to the most in the early of the year. Because, I don't know, a good theme game gets me, It wheedles its way into my brain and makes me happy. So yeah, 2 Point Museum will be my pick.
Nice.
And then Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 when it finally comes out. Hopefully before my 60th birthday. So, anyway.
So 2024 was not as bad as you were making it out. There was a lot of good RPGs.
There was nothing. I didn't really play any games for 2024 in 2024. That's the problem.
I played more games, according to my Steam wrap-up, I played more games this year than I did last year.
Yeah, well, I played more games than I did last year, but all those games are from last year.
Between Another Crab's Treasure, Stalker 2, let me think. Just Crow Country. I love Crow Country.
Oh my God, they're coming out Monaco 2? Really?
There was Bloomtown and Beyond Galaxyland that came out this year that were RPGs, and I played those. Oh, and of course there was Dragon's Quest 3. I played that one this year.
Metaphor Refantasio.
Oh yeah. And Saga, Romancing Saga 2.
I still didn't play those games. I mean, I played the demo actually.
And Balatro came out this year.
And Prova.
That's true. I mean, the thing is that I stopped playing Balatro like a month ago, and I'm still playing Slay the Spire. By the way, I completely forgot. Oh, go ahead.
I think that's a good mix of mobile games. Like, I would bounce back between those two. I'm playing the hell out of Balatro like a lot. I'm still trying to get to the last blinds on the Nebula deck.
I hit a wall with Balatro. I'm not hitting a wall with Slay the Spire. By the way, I completely forgot that Little Nightmares 3 is coming out next year. And also Greedfall 2. Oh, yeah. And, do you think Grand Theft Auto 6 is actually going to come out next year?
Not a chance. They're going to absolutely delay that thing into 2026.
Did you play Greedfall?
A little bit.
It's as close to Mass Effect as you're going to come, really. Anyways.
Oh, and also, Jonah, Dragon Age. You loved Dragon Age.
Oh, yeah,
Did you?
Well, yeah, I'm actually in the middle of my third playthrough, although I've put it on pause because...
That game is like 50 hours long on a short playthrough.
Actually, no. If you know what's going on, it's actually shorter. It's more like 35 hours. So,
But still, 3 playthroughs of at least 35 hours.
but right now I'm doing Indiana Jones. Although I will say this, I will probably not replay Indiana Jones for a while, but I am replaying Dragon Age because you get to see different sexes, and I hear that if you're a different race, certain people react to you differently. So there's always that Mass Effect. Hey, I'm going to replay, but change the way I play. I will replay Indiana Jones again because like I said, it's like watching a TV series in which each episode is in a different area. And it made me think, maybe next time they make an Indiana Jones film, just have it completely CGI, not CGI like trying to make it look as real as possible, but more like Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, and just have Troy Baker do Indiana Jones's voice, because the story in this is better than any of the films that have come out in the last 10 years. It's like watching a new Indiana Jones.
That's what. Yeah, I think that's the intent.
Yeah.
Also,
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say they hit. It's like I would say that Troy Baker is definitely the spotlight, but the supporting cast is great too. I
gotta say something. Voss is like a combination of Belloc and the creepy Nazi guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark. They took
Voss
the two
is
characters
a
and
great
smushed them.
villain.
Yeah.
I love Voss. I mean, I love Voss as much as you should love a Nazi that you want to punch in the face, but I think he's a great villain.
Yeah. One thing I do like about Indiana Jones is that they do a lot of foreign language speaking. They have the subtitles, but you can tell everybody's acting well with that. It's like they're convincing in their foreign language. They took actual actors who can speak that language and had them speak it.
Also, rest in peace, Tony Todd. This was like his last role.
Yeah, Lucas.
Yeah.
Locus. His name is Locus.
He was such a good actor. He was
Damn good. And he puts on a great show in that game.
Yeah. It'll be interesting what happens with his character because I've gotten to the point in which it doesn't seem like he'll be an adversary by the time the game is over.
Not going to say anything. It's interesting.
Yeah. So anyways, look for our show notes at gamingpodcast.net along with industry news and our gaming history articles. We enjoy feedback, so comments on our blog at gamingpodcast.net. Also, this up at facebook.com/gamingpodcast. Subscribe to iTunes, leave some iTunes comments. You can find me at Blue Sky at Jonah Falcon.
You can find me at Johnny Chugs.
You can find me at Start to Sage.
And we won't have a podcast next week. We will be off for the holidays. And we'll probably be back in the first week of January. Anyways, see you next week. See you in 2 weeks.
Happy gaming, everyone.
Have fun. Be cool. Have a great new year, y'all.
Bye. End stream.